Well, it must be approaching election season. I guess the election's November next year, normally-ish, so that's 14, 15 months away, because Winston Peters has started telling New Zealand and telling New Zealand First supporters particularly about all the terrible investments made around New Zealand by Chinese companies and giving them a heads up that beware, the Chinese are coming to take over New Zealand. The latest one that he's fingering pretty hard is the Matarua Valley milk situation in Southland down by Gore. Apparently $200 million into the economy, a new plant being built, 100 new jobs being created, but Mr. Peters is saying this is terrible, this is not good. In fact, this is what he's saying exactly, quote, "It is economic lunacy to give over control of our wealth to foreign interests." So Mr. Peters always has a bit of an issue to do with Asian immigration, Asian money, Asian economics within New Zealand, but a lot of people would look at this as a trade opportunity, an investment opportunity, Dave Loughrey, and what is this, genuine concern or electioneering starting a year out?
I wouldn't like to say what was going on in Winston Peters' mind. I suppose with foreign investment, it's always going to be from one sort of area, and up till the 1960s or 70s, there was a lot of it from the United Kingdom before the EEC, and it varies and changes around the world depending on who's doing well at any one time, and I guess China is at the moment, and that's something that we have to, that's the way of things, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I do understand the concerns over controlling interests outside the country. I think we want to be in charge of our own thing as much as possible, but we also need investment. And I know Fern Farms had some problem with debt before they got the Chinese on board, so that's just the way it goes.
So that's another situation that's come up at the moment. Winston Peters has made a lot of noise about Chinese investment in Fern Farms, Dunedin-based company. Up to 20 press releases and the article says condemning Fern Farms' proposed alliance with a Chinese company. There are some issues that Winston Peters is raising around the merger between these companies. He's worried about the control that the Asian investment would have over the New Zealand company, which is what Dave's been talking about. Apparently, what would happen for the Chinese group, is they would be able to hire or fire the chief executive. They would approve the annual budget and cash flow. They would set the strategic plan, and they would decide even if there would be a dividend payment to investors. So what Winston Peters is saying is, hang on, just pause for a second. There's a lot of conditions around this to get the money. In fact, he's given us another quote. He said this, and this is about the investment coming into the country. "Only when they," talking about the Chinese investors, "have these controls," which we've just listed, will a promised $261 million be invested, but that could easily be reversed or used to invest in developing the Chinese market. The spiteful notice of meetings sent out to shareholders presents no legal opinion that says selling 50% of a $600 million co-op is not a major transaction as defined by law. So Winston Peters, I guess we have to wait and see. As David said, we don't know the mind of Winston Peters. Not many people probably do. Is it electioneering? Is it good, honest critique of what's happening in our own economy? And the next 12 months we'll see if these issues ramp up to the election or whether they fade away and go into the distance.